Hello, and welcome back to the day that the Lord has made. We return to Psalms today for our devotion, chapter 34, verse 4. I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. Did you know that the 34th Psalm is about the essence of God's traits? In the English Standard Version, it has a subheading of Taste the Lord and See that he is good. I like the English Standard Version translation in great part for these subtitles. They help focus you on the underlying issues in the sections that you read. So in this chapter, David is talking about all the good attributes that can be listed about God. Now, it's feasible that the list might literally be endless. After all, God is infinite, so his attributes may also be infinite. We know that David had a very close relationship with God. And I think you can understand that when you have a very close relationship with a person, you come to understand them very well. You learn all about their attributes, both good and bad. And in God's case, there is only one side of the ledger, the positive attributes. As humans, we have both a positive and a negative column. Hopefully, our relationship partner, regardless of how deep that relationship actually is, sees more on the positive side of the ledger. David is taking the time to advertise his relationship partner in this psalm. One would think he is pushing God's good attributes in a manner to draw others to God. However, we know that David often praises God just because he loves God and wants God to know that. One thing I think we need to be absolutely aware of, that is that David sought the Lord. David looked for God. And seeking means you expended the effort to do that. It was not passive. David actually looked for God. This is important. It is not that God is hidden from us. It is that we must want a relationship with God. In many ways, that is why God is not easily seen, at least in my view. God seems to believe it is important that we want the relationship bad enough to look for him. God never gets in our face. It's always a slight movement in our peripheral vision, kind of a starting thing. God may entice us to start that seeking process, but we must really want to find him. This goes to motivation and winnowing out the casual relationship seeker. God is not interested in a casual relationship, and that is, sadly, the kind of relationship a lot of people want. Why? Well, because casual means no responsibility and no control by being in the relationship. David sought out God. He did so because he was interested in a deeper relationship, one that he surely knows or knew would require some commitment. Now, we also know that David was not able to fully adhere to the responsibilities of that commitment all the time. Yet God never left him. That should give us encouragement. Yes, God did sometimes allow the consequences of David's actions to catch up with him. But you should note that God also shielded David from the absolute consequences of most of those actions. God will do the same for us, should we work at the commitment for relationship. No, we cannot be perfect at commitment and being responsible. But God knows our heart. God knew David's heart. And God definitely responds to heart, even over adverse actions on our part. We are not perfect, but God is. He can overcome our imperfections. He has. He sent his son to take care of our imperfections. That in and of itself is a wonderful attribute, not just of God, but of Jesus. Love. That is where it comes from and where relationship is supposed to go. Love. Do you have any idea what it takes to relieve you of all your fears? Have you ever been without fear? Honestly, have you not feared your past? Not feared the future? Not feared someone would find you lacking? Not feared that you might lose what you love? Not feared death? I hazard a guess most of us harbor a multitude of fears. We might not think about them constantly, but most of us actually negotiate through our everyday, powered or pushed by those fears. I have had a few moments in my life where I could not recognize a current fear. A very few moments. In 2000, I suffered a massive pulmonary embolism event blood clots to the lungs. In a trauma room of 15 people, I was the only one expecting I would get out alive. I had no fear of death. Now, I did fear the horrible pain of the event, but not of death. After recovery and the pain receded, I was totally fearless, without fear, for a time. Knowing I came through that event gave me a perspective that erased my fear. Since that time, I've had little to no fear in my life, until recently. Then I came to realize I was in fear of losing a relationship, a connection I had gone to great lengths to establish, nurture, and see grow. It is this issue of relationship that is really the basis for all fears, in my view. We only fear the thought of losing relationship. Yes, some would tell you that is not so. And I suppose for a select few, connection is not their thing. But we are created to be in relationship. I know I seek that one ideal relationship. I happen to believe there are two for each of us. One is temporal and the other spiritual. The spiritual one is with God and is always there if we will accept it. The temporal one is what I call a soulmate, and that connection is out there. You may or may not ever find that one, but if you do, then the real fear of loss permeates your every moment. Maybe you fear they leave you. Maybe you fear their death. Maybe you fear you will not be what they want. But once you find your temporal ideal relationship, you will absolutely know it. Then, this is the fear that nags at me. It is about my temporal relationship connection. I am secure in my spiritual relationship because that is promised to me by the one who cannot lie nor break a promise. In the temporal realm, there's no such guarantee. No such guarantee all will work out as you hope for. I work every day at allowing God to alleviate my final fear. God is love. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for the love that you give us, for the time that you spend in relationship with us. Help us to seek you, to want you, to not care at all that it be just casual, but that it be deep, it be meaningful, and yes, it be eternal. We ask these things in your name.